What's going on, everybody, and welcome to OneWrestling.com's TNA. Nope, not TNA. It's only Impact now. Impact Review. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. Big Ray couldn't do it this week, so here I am. And, I don't get home in time to watch Impact Wrestling, so I had to enlist the help of the magnanimous, the glorious, the scholarly, the king of the hoopla, the Professor Anthony Quintana, all the way from Bombay, New Jersey. You saw the first hour, sir, didn't you? Say what's up to the people.
What's going on there, Slamites? And you know what? For Big Ray, this is a late birthday present. Happy birthday, Big Ray, that the Professor and Billy Ray Valentine are doing this Impact Wrestling review just for you, man, my friend, so you can enjoy that birthday weekend celebration.
So
yes, I did watch that first hour.
I appreciate it, and Big Ray, happy birthday to you. So here we go. Let's dive into it. We're serious, like a late period. That's what Conan said at the end. We'll get into that later. Okay, so. We're gonna hit the key points in this. I don't want to go down the entire card and list them bit by bit like Big Ray would do. I want to go over the episode, hit the key points and then give our thoughts overall and see what we liked, what we didn't like. All right. So what do we got? What do we got?
Well, the opening segment, Billy Ray, is very key because Alberto El Patron, the man who won the World Heavyweight Championship from Bobby Lashley last week. And then they had some kind of thing going on YouTube that Bruce Pritchard and Dutch Mantell were having this power meeting with El Patron, saying that you did not win the title the right way. So El Patron, being the man that he is, being the great wrestler that he is, graciously relinquished the title back to TNA. Oh, I'm sorry. I said TNA too. Damn, roll of the tongue.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take, yes, you're right. It's going to take time.
I'm hearing myself back there, by the way.
He relinquished the Impact Wrestling Championship back to the masses, and I guess Bobby Lashley is the champion again. So how do you start off the show, Billy Ray? Well, El Patron was mad. He wanted his rematch. And he came out and challenged Bobby Lashley. But guess what? EC3 interrupted the crowd because, EC3 doesn't feel like El Patron deserves to have another rematch with Bobby Lashley. So he had something to say about that, Billy Ray.
And I did catch that match later on, so it actually happened. The EC3 versus El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. They don't call him Alberto Del Rio anymore, but for all of you WWE fans, it's the same guy. He's now in TNA Impact or Impact Wrestling. This is going to take some time. It's going to take some time, okay? You got to give us the benefit of the doubt here because TNA Impact has been around for over a decade being called TNA. So it's kind of hard to make the transition to just calling it Impact. You understand? Okay, all right. So cut us some slack here. All right, so what else we got? The Laredo Kid and Hector Garza Jr. beat Eli Drake and Tyrus. Now, Laredo Kid and Hector Garza Jr. was their first time in Impact Wrestling, right? From what I understand. Is this correct, Professor?
Yes, this was their kind of like debut in the new Impact Wrestling regime.
Now, let's give a little bit of background on the Laredo Kid. He's been wrestling since at least 2005, from what I can recall. He made his name over at AAA in Mexico. He's a pretty well-known luchador. He kind of looks like Kalisto. It's not Kalisto, okay? and Hector Garza Jr. is related to Hector Garza. I'm not quite sure if it's his son or his nephew. 8-Track Brown says it's his nephew, so I'm taking his word for it. Professor, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, from what I understand, these are two guys that are in Conan's Crash promotion. So that's with that relationship between Crash and Impact Wrestling. So that's why you're going to see the talents from Mexico from the Crash promotion. And you got to see Laredo and Hector Garza Jr. or Hector Garza, whatever.
Hey, now that you bring that up, I'm very excited at the prospect that Conan is involved with Impact Wrestling because I like what Conan did with AAA. I think he's an excellent booker. He brings an aspect of realism into the product that I really want to see. So if he can do that with TNA, I hope they incorporate him to more than just LAX. I hope they incorporate him in the back with storylines and bringing in talent because he knows what he's doing. Just me. Anyway, so they beat Eli Drake and Tyrus. What'd you think of this match, man?
Well, I think it wasn't about the match per se. I think it was about the storyline between the friction, as you could say, between Eli Drake and Tyrus. I mean, they were talking. You saw the writings on the wall of Eli Drake and Tyrus breaking up, but Eli Drake weeks ago, gave Tyrus a raise, quote unquote. He paid him more money, so this way Tyrus can still be in the fold of Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. But then during this match, you saw the old kind of like tag team storyline, like they weren't on the same wavelength, they weren't on the same page, and at the end of the day, Laredo Kid and Hector Garza Jr. got the win against Eli Drake and Tyrus, causing again after the bell friction between the two. So what will happen, Billy Ray? I don't know. Maybe next week Eli Drake and Tyrus will confront each other, or Eli Drake will pay him more money.
Were you impressed by the two kids from Mexico, man?
Do you want me to be honest here?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I want you to be honest? 100%, please.
Well, you know what it is? I'm a fan of Eli Drake. I'm not a fan of Tyrus just yet because I see him a lot on Fox News, but, I need to be entertained. But you have these guys, Eli Drake and Tyrus, contributing a lot to Impact Wrestling. And then you got these people from over the border, from Crash Promotion, coming in over the wall and beating our guys, Eli Drake and Tyrus.
Hey,
it's
listen,
not good.
Not to mention,
good. I know it's Impact, make Impact great again.
That's what I was
You're
about
not making
to say.
Impact great by Eli Drake losing. I don't like that.
Not to mention that it was seasoned in throughout the episode, make Impact great again. You know what I mean? And you bring the Mexicans in to beat the established stars.
Did you see those vignettes?
I did see. I saw some of them. I saw EC3s. I saw a couple others. What was that?
And Eddie Edwards, they were very powerful vignettes of why Impact's going to be great again. So you can see the fire and the passion of these Impact Wrestling superstars.
I actually kind of dug it, man. I dug the vignettes. You know what else I like as a new Impact Wrestling watcher? I like the commentary. I always hated the Pope. I didn't think he was very good, but I like what they're doing. I like the back and forth that they're doing. It's cool. The arguments and their little wittiness. It's cool. I kind of dug it. I know you don't like it that much, but I kind of did. Unless you changed your mind.
Well, no. I have no problem with heel Josh Matthews because he's one of the greatest commentators in the world today
of all time.
But I do have a little bit of a problem with Jeremy Borash, who's on the phone with the hot news, the 1-900-909-9900
That was funny,
news.
man.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I remember Jeremy Borash from the WCW days, and I see him there, it just doesn't mesh with me. I wish it was Mike Tenay having that friction with Josh Matthews. That's just me on a personal level because Mike Tenay's the professor, I'm the professor, so you know what? I'm a little bit biased there.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Professors stick together. You guys are tenured. Yeah. All right, so this I did catch. The second hour, we're going to go to Alberto Del Rio versus EC3.
Oh, no. You missed something.
What I did miss? I missed Brandy Rhodes. Maybe I did that on purpose. Because it's something I wanted to miss anyway. I mean, she was going to make her in-ring debut. And quite frankly, I think that would have been an absolute disaster. But they booked around it. They gave it an Eva Marie type seasoning, an Eva Marie type SmackDown feel to it. At least that's what I took from it when I heard about it. Tell me about it.
Well, you know what? It was a kind of an Eva Marie kind of booking, but with her husband, Cody Rhodes. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say even Rhodes, too. I got to just say Cody.
And Brandy.
Well, you can say, for some reason, you can say Brandy Rhodes, but you can't say Cody Rhodes. I don't know. I don't understand that. Must be a technicality there.
Let's make Impact great again, damn it. Come on.
But anyway, Cody comes in, interrupts Brandy Rhodes' Impact Wrestling debut. And, he was funny. I have to give it to him. Cody Rhodes was funny. He actually paid Brandy Rhodes' opponent $25. He said this was even more than you was going to get paid by Bruce Pritchard and all the guys in the back for this wrestling match. And then, of course, Brandy Rhodes gets sent to the back. But it was a great segment by Cody Rhodes. He was on point. He was funny. A-Track and I loved it when we were texting back and forth.
I was about to say, this sounds entertaining.
Yes, it was.
I want to watch this. I want to go back and see this. Like, this sounds funny. All right, then something I did see, EC3 versus El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. Let me tell you something, man. I caught the entire match. I wasn't blown away by this match. It was just an okay match. It was more of seeing EC3 in the ring with Alberto Del Rio. That dynamic was cool because they're from two different worlds, pretty much. So tell me something, clarify something for me, man. I was watching this and they were building the EC3 has never tapped out. He has never tapped out. They were building this hard. I want to know how long they've been building this in storyline wise with TNA. And then, all right, so let me just give my thoughts on it before you tell me how long they've been building it and then what you thought about it. Like, from what I can gather, they've been building it for a while. And, Alberto Del Rio comes in, and Alberto El Patron, whatever the hell you want to call him, all right? He comes in, and he makes EC3 tap out. This is only his second outing in TNA. Only his second outing in Impact Wrestling. Okay,
I can't wait for all the comments on this YouTube.
It's not TNA. I get it.
It's not TNA.
We got a couple of those over at the PW Hustle, man. Give me a sec, all right? Give me some time. It took me a while to get Kevin Owens right, okay? I used to call him Kevin Steen all the time, okay? It's gonna work. Eventually, I'll call this Impact Wrestling. Anyway, so he made EC3 tap out. Now, I immediately wrote to my guys, the Professor and A-Track Brown, and asked, one, how long has this storyline been going on? Two, I think it was a bad idea to have him tap out to Alberto Del Rio so quickly. It seemed premature to me. Alberto El Patron is just coming into Impact Wrestling, and I think they really, if they're gonna build a streak, much like that Charlotte streak in the WWE of not losing at pay-per-views, if they're gonna build it, make it pay off for something that matters. Don't just let it go for no apparent reason, and that's what it seemed to me that this was. A-Track had a different take on it, but A-Track is a homer. He loves TNA or Impact Wrestling, and he'll never have anything bad to say about it. I want to know what you think, Professor. I mean, I'm a newbie here. I'm coming in. I'm looking at these storylines, and I'm like, what's going on? Tell me what's up.
I understand your assessment, but the problem with what you're saying is that Impact Wrestling doesn't have the latitude to have pay-per-views because they don't do it a lot. Because their next pay-per-view is going to be Slammiversary, and then after Slammiversary will be Bound for Glory. All right. So that's two pay-per-views. So I can understand what you're talking about with the storyline kind of building with not tapping out anything. But going back with EC3, it was like a year and a half or 2 years that he was undefeated. I forget the number. And then it took Mike Bennett to win, not cleanly, but it was, well, I would say cleanly, but it was a surprising victory that someone like Mike Bennett, which, I miss him already. I can feel the effects of not having Mike Bennett in Impact Wrestling. But
is it Mike Bennett or Maria that you're feeling the effects of, huh?
A little bit of both. Yeah, it is a little bit of both. But you can understand the feeling. It took a long time for someone like Mike Bennett to beat EC3 cleanly, 1, 2, 3. And now I don't even remember during that 2 years of the undefeated. In the 2 years of him wrestling, even Lashley, he never tapped out. He never submitted, nothing like that. So Josh Matthews kind of like, plugged it in here and there that he never tapped out, or it was kind of a surprise that he did. So it wasn't really like they were building it for a long time.
So they haven't been building this. So they just said it as for the match. They just okay, all right. So I mean, yeah. So that's fine.
But if you know the history of EC3, he never tapped out. So it is a surprising thing.
I still feel like they could have really done something with it if they're gonna bring it up, like, let's build it. If you're gonna bring up something like that, don't bring it up for one match. Let's build it. Like, he does not tap out, and you can stress that. You can have him in I Quit matches in which he does not lose, and then finally pay it off for someone, not Alberto El Patron, to beat him that way and kind of get somebody else over that way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember. But remember the symbolism, like.
You muted your mic. Can't hear you. Hello.
So now,
okay,
El Patron, like you said, his second match of the night, and then he beats EC3, tapping him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do the same thing again with your roster. You're kind of embarrassing your roster with these newbies that are coming in. It just doesn't make no sense to me.
It's the new direction of Impact Wrestling, I guess, man, make it great again. But you know what? Whatever. Let's see what happens. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
How do you make it great again? By trashing your originals that were already there and established.
I don't disagree with you, but hey, let's see what develops. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, Professor. What are you drinking there? What do you got there?
I am drinking iced tea.
All right. Oh man, this.
I was gonna name the name, but we don't have a sponsorship deal, so I'm sorry.
What's the name of the tag team that comes out with that was doing the backstage segments with Mackenzie? Oi,
Reno Scum.
dude, I kind of like that tag team, man. I don't know why. Okay, so it's kind of like the Headbangers and the Bushwhackers molded in together. It's kind of cool, man. I kind of dig this. I haven't seen them wrestle. Okay, so if they suck in the ring, please don't take this out on me. But
No, they're okay. They
yeah.
are okay. I saw them in Global Force in the promotion that no one ever saw except the professor.
in the what is it, in the mysterious fictional event that you went to see over at Las Vegas that may or may not have happened?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I saw them.
Oh, well, good for you. They are entertaining, man. They are entertaining. They got a ton of charisma. They're good, man. I saw it off the bat. As soon as they started talking, I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of a throwback. And I like what they were doing. And Mackenzie was awesome. She's like, oi. Yeah, I thought that was great, man. I really dug that tag team. That's why I wanted to throw that in there.
Who did you say they were a hybrid of?
It's the
Headbangers?
Headbangers and the Bushwhackers.
I would go with the Headbangers, but I wouldn't use the Bushwhackers. What was that tag team in WWE? The Highlanders? The other team? Remember that? Slam Ice, please remind me, because there was a WWE team that were wearing kilts too. Was their name the Highlanders? They kind of looked like them too, except with long hair. You remember them?
Oh, man, vaguely. Damn.
And one of the Highlanders was at an Impact Wrestling show in Orlando, and they got in trouble for it.
All right, listen, anybody know that? Leave it in the comment section, all right? Okay, so anyway, I dug that tag team. I dug it. And I got to see him again later on. All right, so then we have Suicide. All right, listen. I got to tell you, this incarnation of Suicide was actually kind of cool, whatever he was doing in the ring. But, I mean, what's the point of bringing this guy back? Okay, so we got Suicide, or the character. Whoever's under that character is probably pretty good. Suicide.
Colby Kennedy, I think, is under the mask this time. The fourth incarnation of Suicide.
Yeah, it's this isn't Tiger Mask, people. Okay, this is Suicide. All right, so it's Suicide.
I thought he was Manic one time, but he's Suicide again.
That's right. And good to bring that up. I forgot all about that. All right, so we got Suicide versus Andrew Everett versus Braxton Sutter versus Trevor Lee for the X Division title. It was a decent match. They tried to pull off a lot of chain wrestling, a lot of that. A lot of decent spots here. I felt it was a little sloppy, but it was entertaining. Tell me what you think.
Four guys that were showing off their athletic skills, as you would say. Little, as the broken Matt Hardy would say, the spot monkey comes out with all four of these gentlemen. It was a great match, but it wasn't about the match itself. Mm-hmm. It was about what happened outside the ring, where Braxton Sutter's former fiance, Laurel Van Ness, who is still wearing the wedding dress, who is still with black mascara under her eyes, who's still eating like chocolate wedding cakes, is coming out in the ringside, looking at Braxton Sutter, looking at Ali, on the corner, and disrupting the match.
Is that her name, Ali on the corner?
What? Forgive me, I'm not making fun of Ali. I think she's a beautiful girl. She's a wholesome girl. She's an angel.
Yes,
but
she is not on the corner. No one leaves baby in the corner. Anyway, guys.
But Laurel Van Ness distracted Braxton Sutter, distracted Ali enough for Trevor Lee to retain his X Division title.
All right, it was a decent match, man, and Trevor Lee is very good. His physique leaves a lot to be desired, but what the hell, right? Who cares? Look at Kevin Owens with a big pot belly over on Raw. This guy's good, man. I liked the match. I'm not a big fan of Shane Helms, but I guess he serves his purpose. Everybody that was in the match played a good role, and I think this incarnation of Suicide was very cool. He kept doing this and all that. The Suicide Dive was very cool. I just think they should get rid of the Suicide getup with the Suicide name on it. You want to keep him under a mask, fine. But the rest of that getup, I just don't dig. It's just not me. I never liked Suicide, even when it was T.J. Perkins, okay? I never dug Suicide. Give me your thoughts on Suicide.
I played him in the Impact Wrestling game back in the days. Mm-hmm. I didn't like him then. I don't like him now. So
there you go. Okay. And then, of course, the grand finale. Now, I don't know if any of you know this. I used to watch TNA religiously back in the day, and
don't say those 3 letters.
Well, it was TNA back in the day when I was watching it.
It was
TNA. So but the LAX was my favorite. One of the realest tag teams that brought me back to the ECW days. It just felt raw. Like it felt like they could have been in there with the Eliminators and the Gangsters and the Samoan SWAT team and the Dudleys. It was that much of a raw feel tag team that the LAX were. LAX was amazing, okay? And they come back here, right? So it's all these new tag teams come out. What I was about to call him Lince Dorado. Hector Garza Jr. and what was the other wrestler's name? And the Laredo Kid came out along with Decay and my other favorite tag team. What's their name?
Reno Scum.
Oi! And you know what? And they're all arguing about who is going to be the tag team champions or who deserves to be the tag team champions. And LAX comes out, and it's minus Hernandez. Okay, it's Conan, Homicide, and 3 other people, which I don't know who they are, but they seem to fit in just fine. That chick looks vicious. They should give her the X Division title. She looks like she'll kill someone. Okay, but
she's a better improvement than Shelly Martinez years ago, because Shelly Martinez couldn't do squat.
Yeah. I feel you. I think they need to go get my boy Supermax ASAP. I know there were problems there. I know there was a lot of stuff going on, but they need to offer him a contract and reunite LAX and keep the other people around too. I loved it, and Conan came out and cut a Conan promo. It was good at the end, man. I dug it so much. Tell me what you thought.
Wait, Billy Ray. Are you not gonna deny the fact, if anybody has watched Lucha Underground, that Conan was buried? Do y'all know this, Slamites? He was buried. Mil Muertes buried him. And for some reason, weeks ago, he appears in Mexico for Crash, and now he's invaded Orlando. What happened? He escaped the coffin?
Those are alternative facts, okay?
Okay.
That is fake news. In fact, it's very fake news. Conan is very alive, and he proved it right here. And he came back with a bunch of people. LAX, the Latin American Exchange.
See what happens when you get buried?
Yeah.
You come back with a thunder.
Anyway, man. Go ahead,
what I want to say is, like, I love LAX from back in the days in 2005, 2006, Homicide and Supermax. I wish Supermax was back myself too, Billy Ray. I agree with you 100%, but probably there's some contract talks that just fell through, and Supermax is a businessman. But, they got 3 young, hungry people that want to prove themselves, and, being associated with Conan and Homicide is a great push for them. And you don't need Homicide to even do anything physical in the ring. He can now, progress back to being like a little coach, a little manager, because, Conan is still like nursing like some injuries he had. Remember, he had like, what was it, liver replacement or something?
He had a hip replacement, everything. You name it, he had it.
So he might not have the strength to like be outside and be like that manager that he used to be like 10 years ago. So now Homicide could take the reins as a manager. You got these 3 young kids.
But Homicide could still go, bro. And
he can still go.
Good luck trying to keep that guy out of the ring.
That's going to be one of the most physical managers if they want to book him like that.
Well, I don't think he's going to be a manager though. I think he's going to be in there destroying people, and that's why they should bring Supermax over too. Like, I mean, I remember not too long ago in a Ring of Honor, we saw LAX versus the Kings of Wrestling, and that was the first time I got to see LAX. They didn't go by the name LAX, but it was Supermax and Homicide against the Kings of Wrestling. And just in case you don't know who those people were, Cesaro and the current Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero, when they were together as the Kings of Wrestling. And that was an excellent, excellent match. And I marked out so hard for LAX. So very excited to see them back in Impact Wrestling, actually, not TNA. Back in Impact Wrestling. I'm going to get myself a nice LAX shirt. Latin American Exchange shirt. It's going to be great. I'm going to get one. It's going to make Impact Wrestling great again. Go ahead.
You should get that from Don West and his Shop TNA Blitz sales. So you probably get a good deal.
Give me a rating. What did you think of this episode of Impact Wrestling?
I give it a nice solid 7. I think there was a lot of good segments here and there. Like I said, I love the Cody Rhodes segment. He was funny. He was on point. I like the vignettes of how to make Impact great again. So, you saw the passion of the wrestlers like Eddie Edwards and EC3 saying why they love Impact Wrestling. I think El Patron and EC3 was a good solid match, but it could have been a little bit better. And of course, I didn't like the results after that. And the only thing that was a little bit of a downturn was, I don't like my man Eli Drake and Tyrus losing to some newbies. So that's just me. But it's a good solid 7.
And for the new cat that hasn't really been able to watch Impact Wrestling, I want to say that I did not hate this, and I didn't love it, but I did not hate it. And, it was a good – I want to side with you. I'm going to give it a 7 as well, man. I think it was a solid 2 hours of pro wrestling. It was entertaining. The announcing was good. We got some surprises, and we got some decent wrestling. And I think I like the atmosphere. I like the fact that the announcers are next to the ring. It gives it an aspect of realism for some reason. And the crowd was a little bit into it, which is different for prior TNA shows that, and I'm saying TNA because that's what I'm used to seeing. The crowd used to sit on their hands. This time it looks a little different. The crowd was into it. They were making noise. It wasn't an old ECW type noise, but they were making some noise, which I will take. So I mean, there's some promise here. So I'm gonna give it a 7, and if I get home in time, I'll watch next week. That's pretty good. Don't you agree?
Yes.
All right.
I'll give it an 8 because you're going to come home next week to watch it. Yeah, I'll give it an 8 then.
Hey, I just want to give a big shout outs to my boys Ben Hameen and Big Ray, who do the TNA Rebellion or the Impact Rebellion. I am sorry. There is no TNA Rebellion. The Impact Rebellion over at WrestleZone.com. Go check their show out. I'm interested in seeing what they're going to say about this episode in relation to what we said about the episode. Of course, they do a full 2 hours over there. They literally spend 2 hours breaking down a 2-hour show. So go listen to that at WrestleZone.com. And, of course, tune in each and every week right here to see Big Ray's report of Impact Wrestling right here on OneWrestling.com. And don't forget about OKayFabe, who does SmackDown. Don't forget about Big Slam Nation, which is all of us talking professional wrestling. We're going to get together and do a couple of shows, do a couple of prediction shows, say what's up to FAMEBLACK, 8-Track Brown, the dirtiest of the city. Who else are we missing? Mimi, Lisa. We got everybody, right? Am I missing anybody? Bill Scholar, God bless you. And of course, the legendary Bill Apter. Professor Anthony Quintana, you're so glorious. Give them your Twitter handle so we can get out of here.
Slamites, you can follow me at PROFPW Hustle, a.k.a. Professor PW Hustle.
All right, and my name is Billy Ray Valentine. You can follow me at Obi-Wan, you know me. And also, I got a new conspiracy show. Go check it out. It's called The Infinite Fringe. You can YouTube it, The Infinite Fringe, or you can find it on Podbeam, The Infinite Fringe. I got a lot of guests on there. Ben Hameen's going to be on soon. We're going to be talking about the Flat Earth. Going to be talking about Pizzagate, all that sort of stuff. All right? Hey, listen. Thank you for joining me, Professor Anthony Quintana. Thank you for saving my life.
I did not save your life. You already watched this and you loved it.
I would have done.
You didn't want to do this alone.
I would have done an hour review. I mean, I would have reviewed the last hour of TNA. I would have been like, listen, guys. All right, so I didn't see the first hour, but I did see the second one. So we're gonna review that. Okay. Thank you, Professor. Hey. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.
Lady, happy birthday, Big Ray. Hope you loved your present here.
Latest, guys.